My video today is going to be about what to expect for the rest of the year. We're coming into the fall season here in the next few weeks, and then before you know it, we'll be diving into the winter season, right? So for some of you who are watching this video, this is going to be your first winter. And for some others, you may have experienced one winter, maybe a couple. You might have a little bit of expectations of what to expect, but wanted to put something together today so we can kind of dive into what we can do now to prepare for that season, right? Because we still have time. So for those of you who haven't experienced a winter yet in the junk removal industry, this is typically for most, not everybody, but for most, when things start to really slow down and die down. And that's important for you to know today because we're in August right now. You should start to put preparations in place for your business to not only accumulate as much business as you can now while it's still busy season, but also put yourself in a position to sustain for the winter and then go into the next year when it picks back up again. So for those of you who are preparing for your first winter, it's very important for you to understand that right now is a huge portion of time that you should be taking advantage of. August, September, October, even some of November, these months are going to be pivotal to carry you into and past the winter season, because more than likely December, January, and possibly most of February are going to be pretty slow. And if you don't know that now, you might have the expectation that things are going to be the same as they were during the summer, and that's really going to hurt you and your business because you won't be prepared for it, right? And so in order to prepare for that, it's important that you start putting money to the side now to really help you position and forecast that. It's also important that you do everything in your power to get as much business as you can right now. That way, one, you could put money to the side and you can prepare for and take advantage of what's left of the busy season. Now, some things that you can do to position yourself better for the winter season, outside of just saving and kind of waiting for it, is to focus on commercial business and building relationships there, because things typically will not die down seasonally in that aspect of the business. Residential is where you're really going to get hit a lot harder because usually around the holidays, people just aren't typically looking for this service as often as they are during the summer months and the spring months and even fall. It doesn't mean that there isn't any business on residential, just expect a slowdown around the holidays. But on commercial, if you could do what you can now to start building relationships and get in front of the right people for commercial business, they don't care if it's Christmas. They don't care if it's January. If they need junk removed, they're going to get it done, right? If a tenant's being removed and they need stuff taken out of that property, guess what? They're not worried about what time of year it is. They need to get it done. So this is something that you could build upon now to prepare yourself for a slowdown on the residential side. Another thing that you can do is, if you're not already, start taking the information of the customers you're acquiring now and put something in place during the winter months to get back in front of them with a special via either email or text message. That way you have a simple way to get back in front of those people, and maybe that offer can generate some extra business outside of just what you're doing currently. So that's another thing that you can look at in the winter months. I know some of you might think I'm crazy talking about winter right now, but it's better to talk about it now a little earlier than to get into October and November when you're running out of time and start planning for it then. That's going to be too late. All right. Now, if it is your first winter, don't panic. This video wasn't made for you to think the sky's falling and all of a sudden you're going to be out of business in the winter. This business was more so to make you aware of it. That way you put the things in place that you need to put in place to prevent yourself from going out of business or really struggling heavily in the winter months. All right. Because if you start to focus on getting as much business as you can now, start to prepare for the winter season in multiple ways, you'll be able to sustain. And before you know it, you'll be back into the spring season and preparing for it in the following year. And business will be as good as normal. So hopefully you guys, one, like I said, start saving up, preparing for it. Two, start positioning yourselves in the right ways to put yourself in front of either your current customers now that you can get back in front of in the winter, or position yourself better with commercial clients. And three, something else I'll mention is if, some of you will notice, and I've notice this on conversations too. I want to prepare you for winter, but sometimes depending on what level you are at, you may actually stay the same. So I do want to put that out there. So for instance, if you're doing about 8K, 10K a month, then you could easily get a job that'll keep you in that same range and that same level in the winter. That is possible. Those of you who are doing 30K and above, usually you will be the ones who will start to see that slowdown take into effect. And you guys can honestly plan for that with starting to build the business upon saving and preparing for that season. If you're about 15 to 20, I think you'll see a little bit less volume in the winter. But if you put the right things in place, you'll still be in a position where the business is flourishing. All right. So again, it's not a sky's falling message or anything like that. It's more so to prepare some of you who may be about to undergo your first winter and don't really know what to expect. So put those things in place, get yourself ready for it. And if you do those things, you'll be good to go. You'll make it through the winter, might even have a really good winter, and you'll be prepared for the spring, summer, and fall going into the following year, which will be here like that. Okay? If you guys have any questions on it, some other things that you can do, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm here to help. And as always, appreciate you guys for watching the channel. If you haven't already, I would love if you would subscribe to it. Hit the bell so that you can get notifications on when we have new videos. I typically put a video out once a week, and it's going to be content specifically regarding the junk removal industry. Thanks for watching, guys.